Okay, well the mash is done. It's been mashing at an hour for about 149. Had to add a few doses of hot water to get it up to temperature. I really should have primed the cooler first with hot water because I think the cooler absorbed a lot of the heat and that lowered the temperature of the mash. But the first step that we need to do is something called Vorlauf, and this is a process that clarifies the beer. We're going to use the grain husks and the grain itself as its own natural filter bed. But at first, the sweet wort is going to come out a little bit cloudy. So let's open it up here and see what we have. With any luck, this will work. There we go. This is working pretty well. Very dark. Very dark, but definitely a little bit cloudy. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but there's definitely some particles, some grain husks floating around in there. So what we're going to do, and you can't see it here, is I'm returning this very gently back up into the mash tun. This is called recirculation. What this is doing is building up the filter bed. The grain husks are going to settle and allow this to filter a little bit more clearly. And you want to drain this. I actually did that a little bit too fast last time. So it'll take, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 of these doses, recirculations, to get the grain bed to settle and things to run clear. So this is some pretty sweet stuff here. Very dark, sweet liquid. What you're seeing is much darker than it's going to be at the end, because we're going to, I mean, this is just the water that I used for mashing. We're going to be adding a substantial amount more to the process. And this is going to, that extra water is going to weaken the color a little bit. It's not going to be quite so dark, but I do think I've got a good color going for the style. So gently return it back. I have a tripod set up at the moment, so I'm sure you enjoyed my shoe there. Okay. I really need both hands to do this, and I'm doing this by myself today, so I can't get all the great shots. Okay, let's get another one. I'm just barely opening it up at the spigot, at the mash tun. And I'm still seeing some particulate. We'll have to do this a few more times yet. It doesn't hurt to do this several times. I always go about half a dozen times or so just to double check. Yeah, there's still some grain husks coming through. That's okay. It seems like the mash tun is working pretty well, though. Looks like it's starting to come through a little bit clearer from the spigot. Hard to see that. Okay. Recirculate one more time. A little harder to tell how clear it is with a dark beer like this. If you're brewing something lighter colored, it's very easy to see that the beer is coming out very bright and clear. Okay, let's get it just barely open. It's easiest to see at first. See, that's getting much clearer. There's still a few pieces of grain coming through. I want to make sure we've got none of that coming through. So this will just keep getting better and better as we recirculate more and more. Okay, I'm going to do this a few more times. I don't think we need to see it all. I'll come back when it's obviously much clearer. Okay, I have my lovely assistant holding the camera for me now. The beer is definitely starting to get clearer. You can see it a little bit if I sort of tilt it. You can see up here that you can see the bottom of the pan. Very few particulate pieces left. So this is the recirculation. Okay, just very gently returning it to the mash tun. I really do wish you could smell this. Okay. And then down here at at the bottom of the mash tun is the spigot that I got from an old bottling bucket. I was able to clean these pieces really well, but the bottling bucket was beyond repair. So I used this to convert the mash tun into a what's called a lauter tun as well. This is what we're doing, lautering. We're filtering the beer. So I'm going to gently open the spigot. You show the spigot again? Okay, so we don't want to open it full tilt, very gently. That helps the grain bed settle. Now you can see how much clearer it is than when I started. It was very dark and opaque before. It looked almost like a stout right away. But we can see we've got a very nice ruby brown color. It's going to start getting darker as it gets deeper in the pan, but you can see what I mean. We are at a point now where it is probably clear enough that we can go ahead and start sparging. And I will explain that here shortly. Okay, we can turn this off. We're going to do one more for good measure. I always go one more than I really think I need to. We turn it very gently back. Okay, we'll go one more. And when we put it into the brew pot, we can actually go full tilt with this. We don't have to, well, you do want to maintain some speed. You don't want it to come out so fast that it starts picking up the grain bed. But it does look like the mash tun is working pretty well. It worked as I hoped. Very inexpensive conversion to convert the cooler to a mash tun. It was just a few dollars in CPVC pipes, and that was really all. I had to borrow a spade bit from a neighbor. Okay, recirculate one more time. And I think we are now ready to lauter and sparge. Okay, we are done with the pan.